Welcome to Couch Football Offseason Edition. This is our first episode of March. First of two episodes that we're planning on doing. You're here with Luke and Ryan right now.
What's up?
And so the new league year begins March 11th. The tampering period begins March 9th. So the league year actually begins March 9th. But for now, we've got a couple of gentlemen's agreements that are going on. That is actually what all of these are. While all of these moves technically are official, technically they are really just gentlemen's agreements. But I don't think I've ever seen someone make a move before the tampering period, like agree on a trade or something, and then when the league year begins, be like, you know what, on second thought, nah, we changed our minds.
Yeah, decided to go in a different direction. There's other people on the, out and up. So yeah, I could see somebody doing that.
So we are going to talk some trades, and then we're going to go through the free agent list and, do our best NFL Network analyst impressions, and basically purely speculate on what we think is going to happen or what we think should happen. As Bears fans, we've got something went down today that we're going to get to, that we're going to have to, we're going to have to sort through some stuff, emotionally. So, all right, let's go ahead and talk some trades. So I'm going to do the trades in chronological order. Once again, these are trades that are not official until the league year begins, but like I said, there's a 99.9% chance that these are all legit and official. So first of all, we've got the Titans and the Jets making a move. So the Titans acquired Jermaine Johnson, defensive end, gave up Tavondre Sweat. So this is a cap move. I don't have a ton to say about it. So the Jets cleared almost $12 million in cap space, and Titans had wide open cap room for it, so they went for it. The Browns acquired Titus Howard, and so that's the right tackle for the Texans. The Texans getting rid of a lot of offensive linemen, and then the Texans, they acquired a 5th-round pick for that, by the way.
Yeah. The Texans didn't have the best offensive line, so makes sense.
Yeah. And then now we're getting into fantasy football relevant ones. So Texans acquired David Montgomery, who is only $6 million in cap space. Not bad. That's an RB1 for $6 million. That's not bad. And then Juice Scruggs, guard. So another Texans offensive lineman. A 2026 4th rounder and a 2027 7th rounder. So this one, Ryan, I texted you guys when this one happened, and I said I fully believe that Jahmyr Gibbs, depending on what happens in free agency now, depending on who the Lions go and get to be their RB2, I firmly believe that Jahmyr Gibbs should probably be the first overall draft pick in fantasy leagues, in redraft leagues. So, do you concur?
Maybe. PPR or not, Gibbs touches the ball a lot, so I think you kind of have to. You have to take him first. A running back in the prime of his career finally gets alone in the backfield, and he's probably number 1 overall next year.
Yeah. And then on Dave Montgomery's side, I'm not sure if it's a great move for him, because we've seen David Montgomery on teams with bad offensive lines before. We saw him on the Bears, and he was still a serviceable running back, but he was, mid-range, right? Probably 15th, 16th best running back in the league with the Bears. So he will get more opportunities. He'll get more carries. Fantasy football wise, what are we thinking? We're thinking like a 6th-round pick in half PPR.
If he's the starter, you're talking 4th, 5th, maybe 4th. But I just don't know with that backfield. It's the Texans keep buying old running backs, so it's kind of hard to say, who's going to actually get the ball or not.
Yeah. Okay. So for this one, you want to grade this trade for both sides? I think for the Texans, giving up a 4 and a 7, and a young guard, on a rookie deal. I think I'm honestly going to give the Texans a C plus. I think there were better ways that they could go with running backs, and I don't actually think that the Texans have a running back issue. I think they have an offensive line issue. So I'll give them a C plus.
Okay. What's failing grade? Is it D? Is it F?
I mean,
Uh,
F means fail, so I guess.
D means do better. I'm gonna give it a D plus. You keep buying these old running backs. You have young guys who you could say, hey, here's some leeway. Go and see what you can do. I know you get established talent in David Montgomery, and you were a playoff team last year, but he's not. I mean, he's not a franchise guy, or he wouldn't be leaving. He's been on what, 3 teams now.
This is his third
So
team. Yeah.
yeah, I don't like it. I don't know how good Juice Scruggs was this past year,
I don't.
or if he even played. I mean, it says age 26, so
Developmental O lineman. So, but I mean, I didn't.
I'm not a
I
fan
didn't
of
see a
it.
player went to begin with. I thought it was just a 4th and a 7th, and even then, I was like, you know what, the Lions are getting pretty good value here, and apparently they also got a young guard. So
Yeah, I think the Lions get more of a B, maybe a B plus for the trade.
yeah, I give the Lions a B plus if they can flip around and draft a. If they could get like a Kyle Monangai in the draft, or late round steal, or grab a serviceable guy in free agency, we can talk about that when we get to the list. Then I think the Lions have a really good. I think they made a really good move here, and they appeased David Montgomery, who he wanted to be a workhorse again. So
Yeah, and nothing against David Montgomery. He's a decent back, but it's just the Texans organization. I don't know if that's the best landing spot for him, but he'll for sure get work.
yep. So B plus for Lions, and then
Yeah,
what you gave him a B?
yeah. B for Lions, D plus for Texans.
Okay. All right. Here was a big one. This was well, I'll get into this, but so Chiefs got a first rounder, a fifth rounder, a sixth rounder, and a third rounder next year for Trent McDuffie going to the Rams. Obviously, cornerback one for them. Definitely a top 3 corner in the league. And we know what this really was. Like, yeah, the Chiefs are getting a haul for it, but really, this was the Chiefs needing to clear cap space. Before the new cap was announced, they were $50 million over the cap. So they're clearing $13 million cap space for this. They're also acquiring a good chunk of picks. So this one's good. I mean, Trent McDuffie's a really good player. The Rams are going to get a lot better for this, and the Rams never have first round picks anyways. They always trade away their first rounders, so this is nothing new for them.
It's also going to be a late first rounder, so.
Yeah. So this one, yeah, grading this one, I think the Rams, they're giving up a ton, but they're getting a 25-year-old corner who is at the top of his game. And honestly, a 13 mil cap hit isn't even that bad for him. So I'm not sure what kind of extension they're working on right now. But for the Rams, I think I'll give them a B. And then the Chiefs, I'll give them a B plus. They cleared cap space and they got a haul. So
I'm going to give both teams the same grade of a B because this is one of the few trades. I don't think there's a winner or a loser here. You both did things that you needed to do, and you both got something out of it. So, yep, that's all I had to say. Sorry.
yep. All right, and then final trade that happened earlier today, and this one we're gonna spend some time on, as Ryan and most people listening to this know. I have opinions when it comes to my Bears. So we got the Chicago Bears acquiring a second round pick. The Bills.
Oh, they are? How'd they get that? What did they have to give up for that second round pick?
The Bills acquiring DJ Moore, 28-year-old wide receiver, and a 2026 5th round pick.
We sold off the guy that got us to the next game in the playoffs. I mean, what the heck?
Yeah. So I'm not a fan of this, or I was not a fan of this trade when it first came in. When I got the notification that it happened and before compensation was seen, wasn't feeling great. I knew it was something that was probably going to have to happen. There's been buzz all offseason so far about DJ Moore probably having to get moved because of his cap hit. It's right there on the screen. It is a $24.5 million cap hit. So it's a brutal cap hit. The Bears have a pretty deep receiver room right now, right? Obviously, you've got Rome Odunze, you've got Luther Burden, who I think is going to be really good. And then you've got Cole Kmet, possibly. We'll see what happens there. And then you've got Colson Loveland, who I think he's going to be really good. Him and Burden both on rookie deals. And then, honestly, I think this is going to be big for Jahdae Walker. Jahdae Walker, number 20 for the Bears, undrafted rookie receiver last year. He made some big plays for them. Obviously, he had the 4th and 4 touchdown against the Packers. The second game they played, the game that, took that game into OT. And him and Caleb Williams, they seem to have a really good rapport with one another. Apparently they lived together for a little bit during the offseason when Jahdae Walker first moved into Chicago. So
you really get to know someone when you move in with them,
Are you making comments? Are you alluding to something?
I'm just saying, roommates know things that the general public does not. So
Ryan takes showers with his socks on.
Only when they're dirty.
No. So, fun fact: Mitchell Trubisky used to live with the Bears fullback back when he was a rookie, Michael Burton.
I'm more surprised that the Bears had a fullback, but yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So before we saw compensation on this one, it was a tough pill to swallow, right? Because as a Bears fan, DJ Moore had become the Packers slayer. 10 years of being dominated from the pack by the Packers year after year, and then they beat them. They beat them the second time they play this year, and then they beat them in the wild card and eliminate them from the playoffs, and they did it both on 2 DJ Moore game-winning touchdowns. So Ryan, you know me and my superstition, which is now the Bears are going to go on to be swept by the Packers for the next 10 seasons, and it's going to be coined the DJ Moore curse.
that can't happen.
But it is after seeing compensation, and we in our group text, Caleb was trying to say that the best the Bears will get is a 5th rounder.
I mean, for DJ Moore, he's only 28.
He's saying it because of the cap hit. But yeah, they ended up giving up a 5th rounder and DJ Moore, and then they get a 2nd rounder. So after seeing compensation, I think this is actually a really good trade for both teams. I still hate it. I still hate that DJ Moore has to leave, but it probably is the right move, right? Because the Bears, yes, they no longer have to take on that $24.5 million cap hit. They have a pretty good receiver room right now. Very young receiver room. Pretty much everyone is still on their rookie contracts. And then you get a 2nd rounder. So it's a pretty good move for the Bears. Still kind of hurts his fans, but it's a pretty good move for the Bears. And then you flip it to the Bills. The Bills, obviously, they've got some cap room to work with, so they can take on this hit. DJ Moore, down year last year, but it's because the ball was getting distributed amongst all the receivers for the Bears. And that's the thing about box score watchers. They want to be like, oh, DJ Moore, he's washed now. And no, he's not. He's just not getting the targets that he used to because the ball is getting spread out. And now he goes on and he becomes the pound for pound number 1 receiver for the Bills. And he gets, he moves on from Caleb Williams to Josh Allen. So, it's definitely... Josh Allen is a better overall QB, I'd say, right now. Arm talent-wise, I'd say him and Caleb Williams, they're pretty neck and neck, so it's not a downgrade for DJ Moore. And obviously, the speculation throughout the entire offseason was DJ Moore is going to be part of a package that the Bears send out to get Max Crosby. So DJ Moore should be pretty happy about this. He's going to the Bills to get to play with last year's MVP at QB instead of going to the black hole that is the Raiders, who are rebuilding and probably going to have a rookie QB.
Yeah, you made a lot of points there.
I knew I was gonna rant.
Yeah,
You knew I was gonna rant.
I know. So it's kind of hard to pick one specific thing and move on from there. But I guess I'll jump back to the DJ Moore for and a fifth for the second round, which, as we were discussing, or as you said before, DJ Moore, I would still say he's in the prime of his career. I mean, what was it, 3-4 years at Chicago? And now he's 28. He
3
goes to
years.
a team that needs a number one receiver, even though that the Bills drafted Keon Coleman with a high draft pick 2 years ago, and that hasn't turned out yet. They have Shakir, who was a sixth rounder, maybe fifth rounder, late draft pick, who's been on the team for a couple years now. So Bills needed someone. So it makes sense somewhat with DJ Moore. He's a little expensive for who you're getting. DJ Moore is good, but what was it?
He's getting wide receiver. He's getting wide receiver one money. You're paying him to be the best receiver on the team, and it was honestly tough to say before Odunze got hurt. So Odunze got hurt last year, and he was. I mean, we all remember what Odunze was doing weeks 1 through 5, and then he gets injured, and then he comes back, and he was never quite the same. I expect him to be fully recovered by the start of next season, and if he is, I do think that Odunze is a better receiver than DJ Moore right now. Like, in their current ages, right? Odunze is quite a bit younger. Him and Caleb Williams seem to have just a better connection. But yeah, so DJ Moore, it's tough to pay a guy wide receiver one money when he's not your wide receiver one. But he is going to be the wide receiver one on Buffalo for sure. So,
Yep, I would say so. But here's the thing about DJ Moore. I know I set it up as pretty grim, and he's commanding 24.5 mil a year. For the guys hitting free agency, I think DJ Moore is your best bet there. I mean, you got guys like Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, but they're old. They're 4 years older than him.
yeah,
So,
it's a bad market this year for receivers.
so getting a guy and only having to pay 25 mil, let's say, is I think pretty good. Um, we know that JSN should be re-signed this next or get a new contract, and that's going to bounce, what is it, 35, 40 mil. So the Bills being able to do this before the wide receiver market pops off is, I think, really good for them. And I don't know if I want to say only them. Chicago, I go back and forth on, because we had a QB that had a set receiver room, and that room was doing well, and now we're getting rid of debatably our number one receiver. I mean, you could say it was Burden, or not Burden, Adunze, but he was on paper our number one receiver last year. So I don't like it being a Bears fan. I would have loved one more year out of him, but getting a second round, getting some more prospects, I just don't want to get in the loop of constantly, hey, let's trade our talent for value. So you made the playoffs next year and you're trading away your best receiver. Doesn't sit well with me, but second round pick.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing. Prior to Tuesday of this week, I was very much on the boat of, man, I hope they don't trade DJ Moore. And I still don't love that it happened, but I will say Tuesday, the Bears center Drew Dahlman decided to retire at the age of 27 after his first year of a 3-year deal that he's on. So now the Bears have a hole at center. They already had a hole at left tackle because Ozzie Trapillo is going to miss the entire 2026 season due to injury. They need an edge rusher. They need linebackers. They need safeties. There's lots of holes, and the only logical way that they're going to be able to fill some of that is to, unfortunately unload some of this cap. And DJ Moore was their highest paid player. So it sucks, but it is the logical move for them to make. And, we'll just see. We'll just have to see what happens. Drew Dahlman retiring, that came out of nowhere. Like, I thought the Bears were just going to have to, probably try to snag a left tackle in, like, the second round and, hope that everything pans out there. Now they're down 2 offensive linemen. Obviously they had a top 5 offensive line last year, and now they all of a sudden find themselves without 2 of those 5 starters. So it's a tough spot. So this trade, a lot of people say that this trade is setting up a Crosby offer. And I think when it comes to Max Crosby, so people say the Raiders are asking, apparently the Raiders' asking price is 2 first and a player, a quote-unquote premium player. If the Bears get Crosby for 2 first, which is what Micah Parsons went for, I won't hate the move. I'll say, you know what, that's, edge rusher. You're getting a premier edge rusher on a fairly team-friendly deal. He's getting paid like $30 million this year. Myles Garrett, for instance, is getting $40 million. I won't hate the move, but at the same time, this draft, from what I'm seeing, this draft class is one of the better edge rusher draft classes that we've had over the last decade. So I'm more on the side of take the dart throw. Try to draft an edge rusher. If maybe you need to trade up in the draft to get the guy you want, but try to get it. Try to strike gold in the draft. Maybe you get someone. Maybe you get a future star on a rookie deal, and then you can use your draft capital and you can use the cap room that would have gone to Crosby's contract to fill some of these gaps that you've got. Either way, I'm not going to be upset. If the Bears get Crosby for 2 first-rounders, I'm not going to be upset. Now, if it's 2 first-rounders and a player, if it's 2 first-rounders and I don't even know. I don't even know who they could trade. I mean, maybe...
Hey, Zacchaeus, they can have him.
Maybe an offensive lineman. Maybe if they trade like Darnell Wright or something. I'm not going to like that. That's going to be a terrible move for me. But if it's just 2 first, then, I'll live with it. But yeah, now I'm on the side of like... With the holes, I'm on the side of just try. They had a really good draft last year. See if you can keep that trend going. See if you can, get some really talented. Keep getting talented players on rookie deals, and then use free agency to beef up your O line. So let's flip over to the free agents now.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stay on the Bears for a minute, and I'm gonna talk. So obviously, center is what happened. Center was the position that Drew Dahlman played. He retired. Tyler Linderbaum, the Ravens center, he is coming off of his rookie deal. He's 25 years old. He is the best available center. If the Bears want him, the market value, according to this website, this is Spot Track, $17.7 million is his market value.
Pretty much what we gave up in cap hit from DJ Moore.
Right. So if they can get Linderbaum, and if they can, maybe draft a left tackle, they got to figure out what they're going to do on the defensive ball. They're going to have to draft a lot of defensive players. Most of this draft is probably going to have to be defense, and we'll just see what happens. So, all right, that's enough. That's enough talking about the Bears. We can jump in now. So, top player on this list is Tyreek Hill because his previous average for his contract, $30 million. Age 32, coming off of a horrific leg injury. Talking dislocated ankle, which has been happening pretty often to guys. That's what Chris Godwin had. It's what Cam Scatterbo just had. It's a brutal injury, especially for receivers and running backs. So his market value here, they've got him at $15 million.
32 years old, been playing in the league for 10 years. I mean, sounds about right.
So obviously we know a lot of the popular speculation going around is that he's going to reunite with the Chiefs. And we'll see what happens. So, I mean, is that kind of what you're thinking, Ryan? You think he goes back to the Chiefs, or do you think he chases the cash somewhere else. I think he'd take a discount to go to the Chiefs. I think Chiefs might be able to get him for 12, 13 mil. He already got his bag. He got 30 mil playing for the Dolphins. He could go, try to win out, try to end his career on a Super Bowl win.
Well, Super Bowl win. They were a losing team last year, weren't they? I mean, I don't really see him going to the Chiefs. It would make sense. Usually, the teams that you play on they're more than willing to cut a deal for you, and then maybe you for them give him a little bit more value. So it makes sense that he would go back to the Chiefs. But I don't know. What about a different team? Maybe. Well, I was gonna say the Rams, but they probably can't pick up anyone older.
Yeah.
It's just I see him going to a team kind of what Adam Thielen did. Like, hey, I want to go to a team that might have a chance. So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think he's going to. I don't see him chasing the cash though. I don't see him like ending up on the Raiders or like Arizona or anything.
the Commanders.
Yeah. Well, I mean maybe. I could see maybe going to the Commanders, but I think so. Marvin Harrison Jr. apparently is a trade target. Apparently the reports are the Browns are actively pursuing him. And if he moves on, I don't think a player like Tyreek Hill would go there. But I honestly, like, next receiver on this list is Mike Evans. I don't see Mike Evans leaving Tampa Bay. I think they'll get a deal done and he'll come back to Tampa Bay. But if he was gonna leave Tampa Bay, if Arizona moves on from Marvin Harrison, for some reason I just feel like that would be a pretty good situation for Mike Evans. I feel like he would fit in there. And playing opposite of Michael Wilson, they are kind of I feel like they kind of would mesh together pretty well because Mike Evans, he's your deep shot guy. He's your big 50-50 ball, go up and get it guy. And then Michael Wilson, he's the big, he's a bigger guy, but he's been the safety net for Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett also might, end up getting traded away. So we'll see what happens there. But
mm-hmm. What about like a team like the Saints? Or maybe the
or Tyreek Hill or Mike Evans.
Well, I guess either or. The Saints are like the Giants. Some of these teams with young quarterbacks that would probably benefit from an experienced receiver in the room.
So I don't see it happening with Mike Evans and Tyreek Hill because I still think the Saints are a couple years away from being like a legitimate contender. And Tyreek Hill and Mike Evans, they're both 32. They both have gotten paid. They both have made their cash. They both have had nice contracts. I don't think they're playing for the money anymore. I think that they're looking for, one or two seasons where they can be on legitimate contenders and try to go out with a ring. So I don't see either one of them going to the Saints. And it's, for some reason, Mike Evans, I feel like I would see him doing it more than another. Like I said, I could see Evans going to the Cardinals. I don't even know why. I feel like that's realistic. Realistically, I just feel like that could happen. They're the only kind of non-contender though, where it's like I think they're a sneaky team, right? Because they're about to get rid of Kyler Murray. That they're expected to release him, and I think they're gonna have some cap to play with. And I think if the Cardinals play their cards right, pun intended, I think they could be a dark horse playoff team. And I talked about this on the podcast already. I'd hold on to Jacoby Brissett. I'd probably draft a guy, but it doesn't have to be your first rounder, I feel like. I think they're in a good enough situation that I could see, like, if I was them, see what QBs slide down the draft.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you have a point. But in all honesty, I mean, these old guys going to a team that may or may not have a shot just doesn't seem very viable to me. But that's why we speculate.
Yeah. So now that Rovers is on, see if we can get a comment from him because apparently I talked about Kyler Murray. Apparently Kyler Murray one of the potential suitors out there would be the Vikings. See if we can get a temperature check on that.
Mm. Well,
Um,
moving on to
here's
JJ.
my thoughts. We had the Josh Dobbs experience, and I keep coming back to this. And I hear a lot of Vikings fans be like, Kyler Murray is so much whatever, whatever. But it's like Josh Dobbs was like a scrambler. He wasn't really like that great of a QB. Kyler Murray kind of fits that same boat because he scrambles a lot, and KOC does not like scramblers. So why would we bring Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
But people are like, well, then he's gonna shift his play calling or whatever, and I'm like, dude, he hasn't shifted it since like he first came here. So
Hey,
I don't know.
to be fair, I don't think it's real. I don't think it's a real like analyst opinion that the Vikings should sign Kyler Murray. I think that it's more just people on the internet, and people on the internet are stupid. Case in point, today with the DJ Moore trade, I keep seeing people say that the Bills fleeced the Bears because they only had to give up a second rounder to get a quote unquote top 10 receiver. First of all, DJ Moore, love the guy, not a top 10 receiver. And second of all, clearly these people have no idea how cap space works. It's actually amazing they got a second round pick for him. So
Actually amazing.
Very valid, very valid.
okay, so we were talking about Tyreek Hill and Mike Evans' potential landing spots for Rivers. Do you have an opinion on that at all?
I think Mike Evans might be a hot commodity compared to Tyreek Hill. Just because of all the legal issues Tyreek Hill goes through and his health concerns, I think Mike Evans will just probably find a landing spot a lot sooner. I could see him going to. Nah, I'd have to think about that.
Ryan wants him to go to the Saints because Ryan is a closeted Saints fan.
No. I said that some of these older guys like Tyreek Hill and Mike Evans probably don't want to go to a team. Well, no, with the Saints, it'd be nice for the rookie QB of Tyler Shuck and so on. But I said I don't think he's going to one of these rebuild teams. So
yeah, so Rivers, what I said to Ryan earlier was I don't really see Tyreek Hill or Mike Evans. They're both 32. I don't see either one of them going to non-contenders.
Right.
And
that's true.
Because what are they playing for? They both have gotten paid. They both have gotten paid already. They both have had good careers. They both have won Super Bowls.
Right.
So I think they're just, they're trying to go out. I mean, who knows? Maybe they are trying to just, get one last huge payday and then call it quits. But I just don't think either one of them have that in them. I think they're both going to be chasing a ring to go out on. So
actually, I could see. I kind of feel I might lean more strongly on this one towards Tyreek Hill for some reason, but I could kind of see him going to the Ravens for some strange reason.
yeah, Ravens are a contender though. So
right.
I think that'd be a good move for both teams if that happened. So yeah, so let's go to edge rusher. So Trey Hendrickson is the number one guy right now. He was playing on the tag last year. $29 million was what he got paid. His market value is $25 million. I think that's a bogus market value. I think Trey Hendrickson is going to be getting like 30, 32 probably. Myles Garrett gets 40 and the edge rusher market is just, it's not as good as some of these other positions. So I think Trey Hendrickson is going to get a lot of money. Some people want the Bears to go after him. Caleb is one of them. He didn't play a ton last year. Got injured. I do think he's a good player. I don't know if he's going to be worth, 30 plus million. So looking at this list, Khalil Mack is sitting there. His contract last year was 18 million. He's old. He's 35. But if the Bears are looking to, just kind of tread water on the edge rusher position for a season before, maybe making a move next offseason, why not get an aging veteran that, you can maybe pay him 15 million, 14 million and see, Khalil Mack is still a productive player. So I don't know. The edge rusher market I'm actually going to filter by that and see. Because obviously, Rovers, we talked about Max Crosby for a little bit, and obviously he's not a free agent, but he is the hottest commodity, right? But it's going to cost you 2 first rounders. It's going to cost you $30 million in a cap hit. It might cost you a player. So kind of trying to figure out all this. So Trey Hendrickson, Hassan Reddick, Joey Bosa, these guys are all free agents.
Do you think the Bears would actually go that far in for Max Crosby? And more specifically, would Ben Johnson, after just 1 year, go all in that much for on a defensive side?
So I think that they will. So apparently the two that are in right now, it's the Cowboys and the Bears. Those are the two that are heavily pursuing Crosby. I mean, when you listen to the first half of this episode, you'll hear my opinion, but basically I don't think it's necessarily the correct move, but I'm not going to be upset if it happens. Just because they do have a lot of holes in the team to fill, and it will kind of give me shades of the Khalil Mack trade in 2018, where it might be awesome for one season, but then after that one season, you're going to have to pay other guys. You're going to have to pay Caleb Williams at some point, and Crosby will be taking up quite a bit of your cap space. And it'll be the same thing if you get Trey Hendrickson. So my opinion is more to just try to draft a guy. First round, try to draft an edge rusher, see if you can strike gold. It's it's the least risky move when it comes to cap and when it comes to, your assets to trade and whatnot. So edge rusher is going to be interesting. I do think it'll be hilarious if Max Crosby goes to the Cowboys, because the Cowboys traded Micah Parsons away, and they would literally take those 2 first-round picks that they got for Micah Parsons and they'll just flip them to get Crosby. And knowing Jerry Jones, he'll probably overpay. It'll probably be 2 first-rounders and probably a second-rounder to get Max Crosby. And really, is Max Crosby that much better than Micah Parsons? Probably not.
Hard to say. I mean,
yeah.
Hard. Yeah.
So, do you guys want to talk quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends? What positions are you guys wanting to talk now? We kind of talked about the 2 receivers. We talked about Tyreek Hill, and we talked about Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Deebo Samuel, Darnell Mooney. These guys are there. It's not a good year for receivers. Not a good free agent market for receivers. So, what do you guys want to talk about?
Hey, real quick. That Panthers receiver that just got, what was it, transition
Coker?
tagged or something like that?
Is it Coker?
I think so.
Jalen.
When they play like on those tags, do they get any incentives, or is it just like you're kind of making that league minimum salary?
Well, it's not league minimum. So you know how.
Well, not league minimum. I meant the average for that position.
Right. So it's still not technically an average. So the franchise tag is the average of the top 10 in the position. So the top 10 highest paid people in your position, you're getting that average. The transition tag, I think, is maybe top 15, top 20, something like that. It's not as much money as the top 10. So that's why teams do it, because it gives them the opportunity to match an offer.
But can they still do can players get incentives from that, or is it just you're only getting that amount of money?
I don't know. So Trey Hendrickson was playing on it last year. I don't know if there were any incentives, but at the same time, he didn't play the whole year. I don't really know how that works with tags. It's a good question, because I've never looked into that before. There probably are some incentives, I'm sure, but not that I know off the top of my head.
Well, at least Panthers are recognizing that he's somewhat key to their offense if they're tagging him. I mean, he's what, fourth, fifth round pick in his second year, maybe third year, and
no, he'll be in his 4th year if he's getting tagged.
Oh yeah. No, you're right.
Was that Coker or was that a different player?
I think it was a different player, but it was a Panthers receiver though.
Yeah,
Oh,
I remember seeing it. I just don't remember.
well, and anyway, you get paid, what is it, top 10, top 15 money for a year. So
Yeah.
I know you have to play under, or more or less forced to play under contract, but at the same time, you're guaranteed money.
Yeah. Yeah, playing on a tag, it's you don't get long-term security, but you will get paid for that year. You'll get, especially if you're an edge rusher or a QB, it is not. I mean, Rebers, you remember Kirk Cousins played on a franchise tag like a million years for. It was Washington. I think Washington tagged him like 3 years in a row.
Yeah, people thought he was foolish, but man, he made money.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got running backs up. Made an executive decision just to pop up running backs because I kind of want to talk Kenneth Walker, right? Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, 25 years old. His market value on Spot Track is $9 million. So who do you guys think is going to be willing to pay that, and who do you think he's going to end up on? Hopefully not the Lions, and hopefully not the Falcons.
He might stay in Seattle. Who knows? They might.
I mean, if I was Seattle, I would, but I think Seattle. I haven't looked into it. Like Seattle's cap, their cap space. I'm assuming they're not in the best spot because when you win the Super Bowl, you're often not in the best spot cap wise. But
You got to pay JSN too, or they got to get a contract
that is
done this year.
that is true. When JSN gets paid, that's gonna be tough. They didn't extend Sam Darnold, so I stand corrected on that.
They also are trying to renegotiate Shaheed, and I don't think that's going well. So
Yeah, apparently he
um,
will test the market, is what it sounds like.
yeah. But I feel like 9 million is low.
Dude, running backs don't get paid. Don't let your kids grow up to play running back in the NFL. They have the shortest careers and they do not get paid well nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
The franchise tag or transition tag, I mean, is going to be more expensive than that, I believe.
The
I don't know what it is for this coming year, but it should be in the range of 10 to 15 mil.
and,
And you get a serviceable guy who won the Super Bowl. Like it was him. They ran the ball, they won the Super Bowl. You know.
I mean, the highest paid running back is Saquon, getting 20 mil. Like running
Yeah, I
backs
believe
just don't get paid. You've got Myles Garrett, you've got edge rushers making 40 mil, you've got QBs making 55. Running backs just aren't, they're not getting paid well nowadays, and it's kind of odd because it's an important position, but I think in recent years, so the things that what I think influences this is in recent years, more and more teams are going to running back committees because longevity, right? It extends careers, it extends primes, and I think that affects the market. But then also, I think teams, for the most part, I think teams have realized that the best running back in the world isn't going to be effective when you have a bad offensive line. So I think teams prioritize, run blocking more than the actual running backs themselves. So, but yeah, it's odd considering, running back. I feel like running back used to be such a premier position, and over the last 10, 15 years, it's just gone. Pretty much ever since Adrian Peterson's MVP season, that began the decline for running backs in the NFL.
Go.
Yeah.
I also think because you're right on that too with the league passing a lot more. So if you're not really a pass catching back, like it devalues um devalues you even more.
Yeah.
Well, for Kenneth Walker, I was just looking at Josh Jacobs, who I think he's somewhat similar, maybe a little bit worse, but he signed a 4-year with the Packers, worth 48 mil. So 12 mil a year, 9 mil for Kenneth Walker might be a tad low, but it's in the ballpark. It's not like insulting
Yeah.
projection.
I think the Commanders should go after Kenneth Walker. They, they're running back needy. Austin Eckler, he's up here also as another free agent, so Eckler's probably gone.
Krosky Merritt ain't gonna cut it for him.
I mean, I believe in the guy, but at the same time, I don't think he can be where it sits right now, I don't think he can be a workhorse. Ken Walker can.
He
So,
could.
you know,
He could also go to the Cardinals, maybe.
yeah, So I brought up Cardinals earlier because I think the Cardinals, after they dump Kyler Murray, I think the Cardinals are going to. I think they have potential to be a sneaky dark horse team.
I think so too.
Because I think they've got the cap that. I think they've got the cap and the draft capital that could kind of boost. I think if they play their cards right, I think they can be really. I think they can be sneakily good because what I would do, I would keep Jacoby Brissett as your starter, and then I would draft best available in best available in whatever positions you're needy in, not quarterback, in the first round. And then I would see what QB slide into the second and third rounds and, maybe draft a guy there. And then I would start Jacoby Brissett day one. And I think they could do a lot with it. And apparently they might be trading Marvin Harrison Jr. potentially to the Browns.
I did not see that.
And if they can flip him for what they paid, if they can flip him for a first, they could make some waves. And to be fair, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's a good player. I think people are way too harsh on the guy because, he was advertised as a generational talent. That being said, I think Michael Wilson is better, but that's, I have Michael Wilson in Dynasty, so, I have to have this opinion, but yeah, so I don't know. I like the Cardinals as a dark horse team. That's the point I'm getting to. Raheem Mostert's a free agent. How is he still playing?
That's what I'm thinking.
So J.K. Dobbins, he is a free agent. He was only on the 1-year deal with Denver. So there's some decent running backs, I think, here. You got Ken Walker, J.K. Dobbins, Rico Dowdle. You guys have any comments on these guys? Najee Harris?
Wait, wasn't Rico just balling out for the Panthers?
Yep, and now he's a free agent.
That's crazy.
Jeez. Well, I have something about ETN. I think he might be a little bit of a steal.
Yep, ETN.
But he's, 27, not as good as Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker's 25. ETN's 27, so a little bit older. But at the same time, he really did good this past year, and he had a previous year where he did all right as well. So I feel teams might take a chance on that.
Yeah.
Because he won't be worth. He won't be worth a lot. So why not?
Yeah, and then Dowdle. So yes, Dowdle was balling out, but he wants to be the workhorse for a team, and it's just. I don't know where he could go where he'll truly be free of a committee. Because I do think he's good, and when he gets it, like with the Panthers, when he got 25 plus opportunities a game, yeah, he's getting 200 something yards every game. But how long can you do that for? Can you do that for 18 weeks? I don't know if you can. I don't know if he can. So, yeah, running back market is interesting. All right. Anything else about running backs you guys want to say before I flip it over to QBs?
Nah.
I will take that as a no. All right. So quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, Zach Wilson, Tyler Taylor, Joe Flacco. A lot of, Mitchell Trubisky, Case Keenum. A lot of, has-beens on here. But I think you guys already know who I want to talk about. And that is Malik Willis. Malik Willis made $1.2 million last year with Green Bay. He's been in the league for 4 seasons. His market value here is $10.5 million. Potentially.
Which is a little bit over. That one, I know that's like a vet min or league minimum, isn't it?
I thought league minimum was like 7, but... Yeah, I don't know. These are estimates made by this website, so
yeah,
could be wrong, but so I think Malik Willis is the most intriguing free agent QB. I don't know where he's going to go. Maybe go to the Vikings. I'm just gonna keep poking the bear.
No, I don't really care, man.
I mean, do you think it's a good thing for JJ McCarthy after one season to potentially have to be competing with a veteran for the starter job? Because
After only what? I think it was 10 games or something like that. No.
yeah. See, I don't necessarily ever think or not ever. I don't necessarily think it's a good thing to put that pressure on a young QB. Young QBs are already under a ton of pressure. I don't think it always works to bring in a free agent, a veteran free agent, and like be like, okay, you're gonna compete now with this guy. That's why I actually applauded Belichick when they were going through the Mac Jones Bailey Zappi thing. They just cut Zappi. They were like, okay, clearly Mac Jones is feeling pressure from those, so they just cut Bailey Zappi. They brought him back later on, but I actually applauded that decision. So yeah,
I just kind of feel like for all the hype Kevin O'Connell has gotten, for him to not be helping JJ out just kind of seems very weird to me. But that's besides the point. I could see Malik Willis maybe going to the Steelers, maybe, or the Jets.
yeah. I mean, I hope for his sake he doesn't go to the Jets. Quarterback graveyard, but yeah, Steelers. I think Steelers is what I said earlier in the season during the podcast, and at this point I don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming back. That'd be so bizarre if he went back with Mike McCarthy and and everything going on there. So what's weird is I don't see Kirk Cousins on here. Oh, because Kirk Cousins hasn't been released yet officially, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and he might. Some people think he might go into broadcasting if he doesn't go to the Vikings.
Yeah, so he will be released, and when he is released, I think he could potentially go to the Steelers as well. Maybe Miami. I feel like Miami's an interesting one. I could see Malik Willis going to Miami too. Where do you guys see Tua going to?
He might not get a team. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying.
He'll get a team. He'll be competing for a starting job. He will not be gifted one. Yeah. Is there Ryan, do you have a list of players that are expected to be dropped?
I do not.
Because I know I've been getting notifications about it, but I don't have it here in front of me. And apparently James Conner might be getting cut, but yeah. I mean, you know what? If it's not official, we won't talk about it because, we don't.
James Conner is Ryan's boy.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, I just draft him a lot. I don't really,
He's always been he's always been Ryan's boy, and then the 1 year I draft him, he gets injured week 4 and never comes back.
He was always going to do that.
Ryan, I hate your boys.
I said it's not mine.
You know what? Ironically, the 1 year I drafted Jacoby Myers, the exact same thing happened. Week 1, scores 2 touchdowns. Ryan does a little victory lap, and I'm like, hey, I've got him. It's all good. And then he gets injured and never comes back.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fancy that. Okay, tight end. We'll quick brush up on tight end. Travis Kelce may or may not retire. If he doesn't retire, he's going back to the Chiefs. I think that's locked in. There's no way he's going to play for a different franchise. David Njoku. That's a little bit intriguing.
Their rookie Fannin looked pretty good.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Harold Fannin, I mean, where is he going to go in fantasy drafts? 4th round? 5th round? Maybe 3rd? Ryan, you going to reach for him in the 3rd?
That's mad high.
I don't reach for tight ends. I draft them first because they deserve to be drafted first.
You're gonna take Harold Fannin first?
I didn't say that. I'm just saying they deserve the respect, especially in a league where we do 1.25 per catch for tight ends, so tight end premium.
Yeah. Mercedes Lewis is still in the league, 41 years old. Estimated value, $1.8 million.
I can't say it's not value. I mean,
I mean, a really intriguing tight end. So I will say the tight end market's not that great, but I think, you talk about guys like Isaiah Likely, because Mark Andrews signed that extension. Somehow Mark Andrews signed a 3-year extension at the age of like 29. Didn't make any sense to me, but that did happen. So now Isaiah Likely, he's going to be testing free agency, and he's probably one of the top guys, I'd say, going into it. It's
He's gonna get paid.
Yeah, I'd say Likely, and I don't know, on this list, it's just not that good. Dallas Goedert, Likely, Jonnu Smith, David Njoku. Those are probably the top guys. I think I'd rather have Isaiah Likely over all of them. He's the youngest, and he also probably has shown the most value in recent years. Although, Goddard was a touchdown machine last year, so I think Goddard will probably go back to Philadelphia. He's 31.
I mean, Higbee just got re-signed by the Rams, so you might be right there.
Darren Waller is a free agent.
He's been in the league so long.
Not as long as Mercedes Lewis. Mercedes Lewis has like 7 years on him.
But Darren at least left and then came back.
That is true. Mercedes Lewis has been consistent all the way through. Okay. All right. Any closing free agent topics you guys want to talk about? Or, I mean, Robers, you weren't here when we were talking about trades. Any thoughts on the Montgomery trade, the DJ Moore trade?
I was surprised Montgomery wanted out. And that's, I guess, what kind of led to it, which interesting because I feel like even though he wasn't used as much, he was used like very well within that system. The DJ Moore one, I think we mentioned this in text, but I think you guys had like a really good thing going with Odunze, Burden, and then
Loveland.
Loveland. So it's not surprising to me. And then when you guys actually mentioned like the cap and all that stuff, I was like, ooh, man, I did not know he was eating up so much of you guys'
he was
salary.
Highest paid player on the roster.
That's crazy.
Getting more than Montez Sweat, which Montez Sweat got. Ryan, I'm just now realizing we didn't grade that trade. We graded all the others, but we didn't grade that one. So.
Well, the Bears win every trade they do, so.
No. So going back to that trade, I actually think this is the fairest trade for both teams involved.
Mm-hmm.
So, Robbers, we went through and we graded each trade.
Yeah.
Because, the Bills, it is a big cap hit, but the Bills, they had the space for it. They get a 5th-round pick. They get they finally get a bona fide number 1 guy for Josh Allen. So, Bills, I give them an A. And then Bears, I think I give them an A-. They clear up a lot of cap space, and they got probably the best value they could for him. You're not going to get a first for DJ Moore with a $25 million cap hit. So, all right, Ryan. Ryan, do you want to do a grade for this one?
Since I don't hate the trade. I C+ for both teams. I mean, I'm not really feeling it, but I can see why they both did it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we didn't talk corners. Trayvon Diggs got paid $19 million at the start of last season. Market value now $7 million. What a drop off. Yeah. Okay. I mean, we'll know more. Robers, in 2 weeks, we're gonna jump on again. We'll actually be reacting to the actual, what actually happens.
Yeah.
And I think, that'll be a fun episode. So, not that.
Did y'all talk about? I know you guys were talking about offensive linemen for the Bears and stuff like that. Did y'all look at the players that are going to be free agents and
not for offensive line?
The center.
Yeah, so Jawan Taylor, right tackle. We did talk about the Ravens center that talked about
bomb or something.
Talked about his market values around 18 million right now. The Bears could go for that if they want to. Yeah, Jawan Taylor, right tackle for the Chiefs. He is probably going to get paid. He's 28. I mean, yeah, it's tough to look at. I wish that I could filter by just offensive line, but I can't. We can look at the guard market. and filter by market value and see. David Edwards is the best available guard for the Bills. Braden Smith, best available right tackle for the Colts coming off. So, yeah, I mean, I don't, I'm a football fan, but it's hard to pay attention to, what offensive linemen are on rookie deals and are performing really well, because the best offensive linemen are the ones that you don't hear about very often because they're not getting penalized or allowing a ton of sacks. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure one of these guys on this list is going to get paid, $20 million a year, and we'll be here to react to it. So,
of course,
valid.
Yeah. Okay, Rovers. Is there a signing out there that you're hoping the Vikings make?
Nah, man, we're like crunched up against the salary cap. We got to make cuts more so than sign people.
Who's on the chopping block?
Honestly, I just hope they use their draft capital wisely and draft really good players, man.
Yeah.
Because we are hurting on every end because we don't have any depth.
Yeah. Do you know who is on the chopping block for the Vikings?
Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. We might drop TJ Hawkinson if they don't renegotiate his contract or whatever it is. Yeah. Aaron Jones will be dropped, obviously.
Whoo! Hawkinson, $21 million cap hit.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Jones. We didn't talk about Aaron Jones. $14.5 million. There, he's going to be released.
Our center might also get released.
Ryan Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, they need to draft good on defensive backs and offensive line, and mostly.
Yep. Well, that'll be fun when they start making moves. It'll be fun to get your opinion on it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that and the draft for sure.
Yeah. I am not looking forward to free agency anymore because Bears have 27-year-old centers that just be up and retiring. So now I feel like they entered the offseason with virtually no holes on offense. Everyone was still under contract for the next season. Yeah, there were grumblings about DJ Moore's cap hit, and they were going to be down a left tackle anyways because they're not down permanently. It's just Ozzie Trapillo's out for the entire season. He's not going to play at all in 2026. So I was feeling really good, and now I don't know how I feel yet. A couple of offensive linemen gone. I hope Odunze can, take the step that he needs to take to become the true number one guy for them. But yeah, and then defense, their defense needs a lot of help. So, yep, it's going to be an intriguing offseason for sure. Check it out, March 9th.
Did y'all not think Odunze was? I feel like outside of his injuries, I thought he was a good receiver.
I mean, so he was great weeks 1 through 5, and then he got hurt, and then he came back, and I do speculate that he was playing hurt. I think he came back from the injury too soon, and I think he is playing hurt, so I think he will be good. It's just, yeah, there were times, he did not look himself in the playoffs, especially the Rams game. He dropped a touchdown on the very first drive, and that touchdown could have been the difference maker in that game. So,
right,
yeah, we'll see. Luther Burden, I've got high hopes for. I'm a big fan of Burden. He is electric after the catch. So,
yeah.
All right, Ryan, inspiring message to close out.
Ask not what you can do, ask what you will do. And what you will do is what will be.
All right. Thanks for listening. Next episode will come out in 2 weeks.
All right. I'll catch y'all later.
All right, later.
Sounds good.